Safe Travels Podcast. Real women, conversations, real life. Safe Travels Podcast. Real women, real conversations, real life.
Hello and welcome to the Safe Travels Podcast. I'm your host, Rashanda Nicole.
I'm your host, Cassie.
I'm your host, Margaret. And today's
Welcome. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about mental health, the importance of mental health. So let's get at it.
Yeah, so May is actually Mental Health Awareness Month. So I think it's good that we're always having these conversations about mental health, especially as women who basically do it all.
Mm-hmm. And working in the mental health field, daily. This is why I wore my green, May mental health green.
Okay.
But, just being counselors, being mothers, being sisters, friends, all of the hats that we wear, just mental health just intertwines and all of that. And thinking about that, whether it's men, women, children, whatever, we have to be aware of our mental health and what we're doing for it. And I see this post all the time that says mental health is health. We go to the doctor all the time. We go to the dentist all the time to make sure everything is up to par. But when we're feeling down or we're feeling anxious, it's like, oh, it'll go away. Right. Or let me watch TV and just kind of zone out. And, we don't do those regular checkups.
Right.
So. I also think, too, just in some communities, I know Black communities, we kind of shun the whole idea of mental health and say, you just need to pray about it, baby. Mm-hmm. Just pray about it. You don't have to go see a therapist. You don't have to go see a counselor. Mm-hmm. You don't need medicine. You just need to pray about it. It must be something you're doing wrong or, so I think we need to erase that stigma of mental health and know that it's a part of our health.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And going back to what Margaret just said and tying that in to the church, God provides all those things. So he provides the doctors, he provides the medicine, and he provides these dope therapists for people to be able to go to and work through those life situations. So for sure.
And it's fine to have Jesus and therapy.
Exactly.
It's no one or the other. You can have both.
You can have both.
Yeah.
So we're definitely saying safe travels to not taking care of our mental health today.
Yes.
I think that's a really good place to start with this Safe Travels podcast and the importance of taking care of yourself.
Yeah. And I think too, mental health is not as shunned as it used to be. Like all of the celebrities are speaking out about it. You see the Better Health commercials
all the time.
All the time about, and they making it normal. Let's normalize talking about mental health.
Right.
Let's normalize mental health days. Let's normalize seeking help for where you're hurting. Not only with your physical but your mental as well.
And I also think, too, that the whole self-care, I think that's a part of the mental health. I think that was kind of a soft way of bringing in the mental health. But self-care is about mental health. You got to take care of you or you can't take care of all the things that you have to do, your families, your job. You can't do anything if your mental health is out of whack.
Absolutely. And I'm good for a mental health day. If I ain't feeling it, no work is getting
for
done.
Sure.
D&D, do not disturb me. It's self-care. I really take that very serious. So what are some of the self-care things that you guys like to do?
Okay, let me just say, I will take a good day to nap and do nothing.
Love a good
I
nap.
will stay in my room. I will have my fire stick and I'll watch. That's just self-care to me.
Right.
If I just want to take a good long nap in peace and quiet and have no agenda for that day, I'll do that. If I want to watch Netflix or Hulu, I'll do that. I just did that this past weekend.
And I think it's important to remember that self-care looks different for everybody.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
For me, and all that sounds great because I love a good nap too. But, you know, it's not just the spa days, the massages, the watching TV. Self-care can look like saying no.
Absolutely.
And let that be it.
Yeah.
No explanation, no feeling guilty. No, period. That is the sentence.
But then too, think about it. Sometimes self-care, it doesn't have to cost you anything.
Yeah.
So many people don't do it because all they see is people talking about going to get a massage, going to take yourself to dinner,
going on vacation,
go on a vacation. They don't have the money to do that. So if you're doing self-care and you don't have the means to be able to do that, either you're going to overextend yourself and then be overwhelmed again later after you come from that trip or that spa day or whatever the case may be.
And I like hiking. So going on a good hike just to connect with nature, to clear my mind, and then the physicality of it, it makes me feel good all the time.
Yeah, I've been asking you to go on a hike, but you hadn't taken me yet. But is there anything else you like to do?
What was the question?
Y'all, we careful all the time.
I said we've been asking you to take us on a hike.
Oh yeah, listen. Long as you don't complain, you're hydrated, we could definitely do a hike.
I know I'm gonna complain.
Yeah, she can't go.
But I'll take one for the team. I'll go.
Yeah,
Safe travels to complaining.
Whining.
But you'll see how good you feel afterwards. And I always feel super accomplished because it's hard to be out there and you're climbing, you're using every muscle in your body. And then there's times where you want to quit, but you just have to keep pushing yourself. Yeah. And before you know it, you're done. So you feel super accomplished.
I think it's just for me, it's the thought of maybe animals.
Yeah, being out in nature without, the unknown.
I don't think it's the walk that's the problem or the hiking that's the problem. It's the what I might see.
Yeah, I can see her climb. Oh, what was that?
Did you get it?
But it's great for your mental health. $0. You feel great. So you know,
or even just walking the neighborhood,
And one of my things that I love to do is walk around Lake Gunnersville. It's a nice little walking trail. You have the water next to you. It's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, we got to do that. I love that.
Okay, we can do that.
But mental health. What about you guys have significant others? So how is it with mental health and the men in your lives? Are they open to it?
Yes, mine is.
Mine is, I guess, because I'm a therapist, but I don't think he would go outside of me to talk about what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
Because it's more of I don't want people knowing my business. I don't want people judging me. Whatever the case may be, but I feel like he's open to opening up.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's hard for men, black men, especially to open up, and they don't want to seem weak or whatever the case may be. And we can tell them all day long, oh, you're not weak, but just being vulnerable in therapy, and that's what it's about, that vulnerability. It makes all of us, feel weak if we're not used to letting people in. So, like I say, I think he will be fine, and he do open up to me as a therapist, but I'm not his therapist, but anyway.
So I think it takes time for all of us to evolve when it comes to mental health and being able to share and be vulnerable, whether it's your wife, your husband, your significant other, whatever. I think it's a evolution. Everybody has to get there. So you have to just kind of meet people where they are, and sometimes not you need to go see a therapist may not be the way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just kind of let them realize that's something that they need to do for themselves.
Absolutely. And I know, like, with losing my dad, like, that was one of the main things that I suggested to my brothers is that they seek therapy. I know myself and my youngest brother, who's 16, we're in therapy, but the two in the middle are not. And, you know, it's been hard for them to just kind of accept that, you know, talking to a stranger is good for them. And so I've had one of my brothers to be like, well, you're my therapist. Like, that's enough. But that's hard. Like, even when I'm dating and I tell people that I'm a therapist, like, I don't automatically want you dumping your stuff on me. And so I think that's a fine line, too, is like, when people know that you're a mental health professional, they automatically just kind of seek you out with their stuff.
And then a lot of times, like in conversation, they assume that you're diagnosing them or you're trying to tell them what to do. No, you know, I'm not your client. Like, no, we're just having a conversation. That's you thinking that you're in therapy because you're talking to a therapist. So, it's really a fine line. Like you say, it's a lot of pressure. Like, I'm trying to be your friend. I'm trying to be your significant other. I'm trying to be your sister, whatever the case may be. I can't be your therapist, too.
Absolutely.
Well, and this is the thing for me. I have been in this field a long time, but I did not go to therapy for the first time until about 5 years ago when I was going through my divorce, when I was going through my separation. That's when I first went to therapy. But I always knew in college they would say, in order for you to know what it's going to be like and what your clients are going to feel like, you need to go to therapy. You need to, you know, experience it for yourself. But I didn't. I did it until that, you know, till that time in my life, and it was life changing. Yeah,
therapists need therapy too.
Absolutely. I stand by it, and I know my therapist get his money worth because I go in there. He has like this little poop emoji pillow, and he'll throw it at you and be like, "Okay, let's talk about all your stuff."
That's good.
And I think too, like, with the media especially, you see like, oh, you go into a therapist's office, there's this couch, and you know, and it doesn't have to be like that. It's simply having conversations where you feel comfortable enough to be open and vulnerable.
And now it's so convenient. You can do it online. You can do it over the phone. You don't have to be in person to do therapy, and I think that's something that makes it easier for people that have anxiety about it. The fact that they have that stigma in their head about, oh, you're going to see a shrink, you're going to get on somebody's couch. You don't have to do that anymore.
And a lot of them think, no, even though we have a no judgment zone, they still feel that judgment, you know, feel like, oh, they're judging me by whatever it is that I'm saying. So being on the phone, you can't see me to judge me. You know, you don't really know who I am, and I can just spill everything out to you without you judging me. So,
and you know, I think what's another thing that's really important is the language we use. I know I have a bad habit of calling people crazy all the time.
Bipolar.
Or the weather. Crazy weather.
I know growing up, like in the town that I grew up in, it's very, you know, rural and country, and you would hear things like the crazy house or that person's on the fifth floor, and you know, so it was really embedded in me that seeking help was a bad thing.
Even the gestures, like you know, that those things we didn't know at the time. I mean, we know now. We've all evolved in that because we say it every now and then too, but we are conscious of it now.
Okay, so this has definitely been a good topic.
Yes. So I hope that we can get some people to follow and join us and have these conversations that sometimes they're difficult conversations everybody wants to have, but don't know who to talk to about them.
All right, so real quick, as it relates to mental health, what are you saying safe travels to? So for me personally, I'm saying safe travels to not having my self-care days and, you know, putting so much on my plate that I'm overwhelmed and exhausted and not taking care of myself.
I'm saying safe travels to I'm saying safe travels to negative self-talk and anxiety. Like, I have so much to say, and I'm so fun. I feel like I'm fun, but I'm so anxious,
Yeah,
so I have to, so I'm saying safe travels to that.
Okay.
And I'm saying safe travels to anxiety too, because I get real anxious about things, and then I get overwhelmed, and not saying no. I need to work on saying no. So deuces to that.
All right.
Safe Travels Pod.
Safe travel.
Safe travel.
Women, conversations, real life. Safe Travels Podcast. Real women, real conversations, real life. Safe Travels Podcast.